In this video, I'm going to talk about basic concepts of identity management. So we would start with what is an identity, and what are the um, facets around identities, and how do we attribute them to real world objects. So in this slide, in this screen, you would see right now, running across the top from left to right are what we call entities. Entities are objects that are concrete objects that one could tangibly perceive in this world. We have a person here with a hat, a lady here, um, a brick and mortar building here, uh, supposed to be a bank. That's what this currency is supposed to mean here. And a little house-like structure here. It's a house, a safe place for you to sleep at night. So these are entities. Now there could be much more. It is only a sampling of entities. This is what we deal with in the real world. In the world of identity management, we translate these into identities. So that is the second row right here running across. Now identities could in general be based on roles that these entities perform in this world. So in here, this person wearing a hat, it appears this person has two identities. One is as this red colored stick figure, perhaps as a customer of a bank, perhaps um, as a lender to a bank, and so on and so forth. Here he's got another identity as perhaps a CEO of an organization. Now let's go on to the next person. We are showing here two identities that this person could have. Again, note that identities could be related to a particular role that one may take in life, or a role one might occupy in this world. As a mom, perhaps, as a school teacher, perhaps, or perhaps as a citizen of a country. Right? They're all different identities or different roles one could take. Identities are closely related to the roles that one could take. There's also a minor difference that happen within systems, technology systems and identity management systems, where roles have a different meaning as to what one could perform within an organization or within that particular solution, identity management solution. Anyway, moving on, this organization, which is a bank, it might be um, functioning as a functioning role of an institute where you deposit money. It could also be an institute from which you take the loan. So there are different roles that even entities of that nature can perform. And the relation that an institution has with many um, of its customers, which again could be institutions or individuals, could vary. So depending on that, one may have different identities. And again, remember that identities are um, representations or notations of the basic entities. A single entity could have multiple identities. The next item we need to understand before we move on to a complete identity management system is that entities are described by attributes. Now, the attributes of an entity are typically flow into the identities, right? For example, for a person or an individual, there could be an attribute of a name, first name, last name, middle name, so on. A date of birth, a home address, a height, a weight, and so on, a eye color, details of that nature. These attributes of an entity could be used to recognize an identity. It's also possible that the identities could have a different set of attributes than the entities. But needless to to dive into those details, without having to dive into those details, what we do within technology systems is to have some kind of correspondence, some kind of relationship between identities and the attributes that describe that identity. For a organization, for an entity, a non-person entity, the attributes could be a name, a location, number of employees, so on and so forth. The number of branches, the country of operation, so on and so forth. The identities again typically may inherit some of these attributes from the entity. So with that, the that's the primer on basic identities, understanding the relationship between entities, identities, and the fact that identities have attributes, are described by attributes. This becomes the primer, this becomes the foundation for understanding identity management systems.